one excuse me, one week after the worst Monday Night Raw in recent memory, what did the WWE do to justify it, and what did they do to correct it? Well, we're all about to find out. Hello, friends. It is ridiculously over Anthony Florio here with you tonight, sitting in for the Hardcore Pipe on Derek Ferreira, who has a very good reason because he is currently watching the inaugural college football playoff national championship game between the Oregon Ducks and the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll try to get you updates throughout this show here tonight. So, very exciting game to say the very least. Definitely some Shakespearean drama, without a doubt. So, yes, Derek Ferreira not here with us tonight, and I'm afraid I also have some more bad news. Michael Fletcher, our Cerebral Viper, he will not be with us tonight either, and he had a very good reason too, because he actually had tickets to tonight's Boston Celtics game against the New Orleans Pelicans at TD Garden in Boston, which the Celtics went on to win tonight, 108 to 100. So I think he definitely got his money's worth in Beantown tonight. So he will not be with us either. So what that means is the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement runs the show tonight. As you know, I am the president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, along with my vice president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, the one and only Phenom Michael Bullock. And our special guest panelist joining us here tonight. Always delighted to have her with us. Hopefully we'll get some opinions from her tonight. That'd be great. The one and only Miss Dee Dee Woodson, our mother hen. So Dee Dee Woodson, welcome aboard as always. Great to have you with us. So, yeah, big night to say the very least. And during the show tonight, there is a special announcement that will be made, although it's already been made. It was made probably about 12 or so hours ago, reported by our own Michael Fletcher, as well as Derek Ferreira. But first, actually reported by TMZ of all folks. But then again, this was definitely a necessary announcement, and it's an announcement that we've all been waiting for the better part of how long? Forever and a day. So, all right. So with that said, let's get to it, my friends here. So let's start it off on this second Monday Night Raw 2015. Of course, as you all know, last week's Monday Night Raw was, oh my goodness, don't even get us started on that. One of the worst Raw we've seen in a long time, maybe the worst ever. I mean, for the first time in the history of this show, we gave a show a 0 out of 10 because that's how bad it was. I can tell you honestly, this show was not a 0 out of 10 tonight. I can honestly say this show, while it wasn't that much better, it was definitely a lot better than that piss poor show last week. So with that said, let's go to it. First off, the show was live tonight from the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, for the first time since, of course, the Miracle on Bourbon Street, WrestleMania 30. Everybody knows that, and don't worry, we'll get to him later. We started off as per usual. Of course, there was a promo, John Cena cutting a promo, interrupted by, guess who? The Authority, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, I hear you. Triple H and Stephanie come out, and then we have a nice little segment here. And basically, Triple H, lays the groundwork, says, okay, John, you're going to have a match against Seth Rollins, which ends up being a lumberjack match. And if you win this lumberjack match against Seth Rollins, then your boys, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan, will have their jobs back. They'll be reinstated. Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. But, of course, we have the promo here. I'll tell you what. I mean, solid promo segment here. I mean, Cena doing his serious shtick. I mean, that was some good stuff, and, talking about how he was going to go to the Royal Rumble, win the title back, and he said that if he won the title, that he was going to take his ball and go home. He was going to basically pull a CM Punk, if you will, from a few years ago. Yeah, okay. Then the Authority, and then, of course, he also says, Cena says he encouraged fans to get on social media networks and use the hashtag Authority Sucks, which, quite frankly, we approved. So, because that's how we feel about said Authority. So, yes. But all in all, I thought it was a good segment here. I mean, not the segment of the night by any means. Oh, no. That certainly wasn't the segment of the night. We'll get to that later on. But, boy, howdy. I mean, now we got to kind of hope that Cena doesn't win the title now, because imagine Raw and SmackDown without the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It'll be just like Lesnar's run. Oh boy, I mean, yeah, way to make your richest prize seem prestigious there, WWE. Well done. Yeah, that title, which has been held by countless legends, from Hogan to Randy Macho Man Savage to The Undertaker to Bret the Hitman Hart. Hell, even Randy Orton and, of course, our boy Daniel Bryan. I mean, legend after legend. Bob Backlund, the Iron Sheik. Oy, so many greats have held this title. And in one found swoop, he just found a way to devalue it even more. I mean, ever since they put the title on Lesnar, they managed to devalue it, and now they're doing it again here. So, in a way, if Cena wins, I mean, good grief. What's going to happen to that belt now? Ugh, I don't know. But all in all, I still thought it was a good segment. So, everybody was fine here. So, I wasn't blown away exactly because, this is the same old story, same old song and dance that we get at the start of a Raw each and every week. And I read an interesting little article. I read an editorial today. I believe it was on the Bleacher Report. Great site. Check it out. There was a gentleman who did an article about the 10 things that WWE must do in 2015, or what he wants to see done. And one of the things that I saw in that blog, and I 100% agree with, and I'm sure Mr. Bullock and Didi Woodson, you're going to agree with me on this. Let them fight. That's exactly what it is. Let them fight. I mean, I understand they need to do promo segments once in a while to hype a storyline or set up a match or whatever. But every week, it has to be a painfully long segment, a segment that overstays its welcome each and every time. And it's about a 15 to 20 minute, if not longer than that, segment. And, same old story, same old song and dance, just like the great Aerosmith once sang, way back when. One of my personal favorite songs by them, but, ugh. But they did accomplish a goal here. It set up a match with, you know what? Since I'm running the show tonight, we're gonna do things, the Anthony Floyd way, or as I like to call it, Hitman's Rules, which means anything goes. Well, Derek Ferrer, likes to package a segment, and if it leads into a match, he usually likes to, combine them together into one overall review to save time. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do here. So, in addition to that segment, we're also going to talk about the match as well. And it led into a match right away. Lumberjack match. John Cena, Seth Rollins. Winner of the match in 13 minutes and 5 seconds, it was Seth Rollins. Now, I understand there was some authority shenanigans and everything else, yada yada, whatever. When is there not authority shenanigans? But I will say this. It was the fight of the night for me. This was a very good match. I mean, these two work well together. They've had great matches. I'm giving this the fight of the night. There was another match that I thought was just as good, but I thought this one was just a smidge better because, like Derek Ferrer always likes to preach on this show, Shakespearean drama, and there was some of that in this fight. And with the story they were telling, Cena fighting for his buddy's job back, fighting for Ziggler, fighting for Ryback, fighting for Rowan, trying to get their jobs back. We thought it was going to be another scenario where, Super Cena was going to be showing up and overcome the odds one more time. And yes, it was a lumberjack match, but the lumberjacks were pretty much all authority sympathizers because you had Big Show out there. You had Citizen Corporate Kane out there. You also had Bad News Barrett, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. You also had Curtis Axel. You had Titus O'Neil. You had Fandango out there, Justin Gabriel. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, Tyson Kidd was out there and Cesaro. We even actually saw a little bit of a Cesaro swing at one point. Well, a mini Cesaro swing during that fight. But to me, despite the authority shenanigans, whatever, I'm still going to give this the fight of the night, and I'm still going to give it 3.5 stars and call it the fight of the night because, like I said, Cena and Rollins worked very well together. There were some great near falls down the stretch both ways. But then, of course, the authority shenanigans ended up overruling yet again. And Big Show, the WMD, takes out Cena, and throws him back in. Rollins gets the easy cover, so that was it. But a very good match, despite the Authority shenanigans, which have absolutely, positively got to go, as does something else from a personal standpoint on my end. But
I hate to say this to you, Florio, but I think as long as the Authority is around, the Authority shenanigans ain't gonna go away. I'm sorry to say it.
unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with you on that, Michael Bullock, 100%. So with that said, 3.5 stars. This was the fight of the night. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the opening promo segment as well as the John Cena and Seth Rollins bout?
Yes, thank you very much, ridiculously over Anthony Florio, and of course the president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement. And yes, this is the vice president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. Yeah, I thought this was an all right segment. Of course, the nice back and forth with Cena and of course Stephanie and Triple H, and of course, like you said, saying, "Oh, you know what? If you want Ryback and Eric Rowan and Dolph Ziggler to have their jobs back, all you have to do, well, all you have to do is win against Seth Rollins in a lumberjack match." Well, of course, like I said during that segment, of course they talked about how they I mean when they lost power, did they cry and whine about it? No, they found a way back in because, well, as Triple H has said, the Authority always wins. And you know what I have to say about that? Blech. I hate that. Yeah, no, 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 no. Yeah, that's what we feel about the Authority always winning. No, 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 no. And here's my statement to him: the IWC always wins, and the Yes Movement always wins. And if you don't like it, Triple H, you can take that best for business motto and stick it where the sun doesn't shine, boy. That's all I'm going to say on that. Yeah, so it led to a match, of course, with Cena and Rollins, with the Lumberjacks, of course, being anti-John Cena, so it wasn't going to look good for him. So, yeah, yeah, so the segment was all right, and as far as the match goes, I'm sorry, Florio. I'm gonna have to go lower and say an even 3 stars. I think because of the Authority shenanigans, really just took away from the match. I mean, yeah, you did have your Shakespearean drama, but when it comes to, I mean, I hate when there's a match that always has Authority shenanigans, and because of that, I have to take points away for it. So, I mean, it was still a good match. Don't get me wrong, but it's the Authority shenanigans that really just took away from the match. So 3 stars is my rating. So Triple H, to you and the Authority and your Authority shenanigans, like I said, take your best for business quote and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. So that being said, I'm done. I'm finished. Florio, let's move on.
All right, and move on. We're going to. There was some backstage stuff. We don't normally get into that, so we're not gonna bother with it. So, with that said, let's move on to our next matchup. It was the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, accompanied by Biggie Langston, going up against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, accompanied by Natalya and Adam Rose. Winners of the match in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. It was Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this tag match?
Yeah, really didn't like this at all. I mean, it was just too short for my liking, but there was a little bit of all right action, so I'm gonna have to say probably I'm gonna go somewhere between half to 1 star for my rating on the match. I mean, there was some all right action, but it was just too short for my liking. So yeah, looks like we got a little rivalry going with, of course, with the New Day and of course Kidd and Cesaro, and I don't know where Adam Rose fits into this whole thing. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with this. Really don't care about it. So half to 1 star is my rating. I know I may sound just a little too generous, but hey, it is what it is. So Florio, it's yours.
Actually, I'm gonna bump that up just a little bit higher because I thought there was some pretty decent action during this fight. I'm gonna give this between 1.25 to 1.5 stars for this fight. I mean, I thought this was an okay match. You know, there was some solid action here because you have some solid workers in there. I do agree it was short on. It was a little too short for our liking, but what else is new? So, Kid and Cesaro in the New Day. I think Adam Rose is going to be, you know, the third wheel on that team. So I think we're going to have Kid Cesaro and Adam Rose going up against the New Day. I could possibly see that being a Royal Rumble pre-show fight, if I'm being honest with you. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see how they decide to do that. But then again, they could give it to us for free on television, maybe on SmackDown this upcoming Thursday night, which it's now Thursday night now, and then or maybe even next Monday night's go home edition of Monday Night Raw, which will be in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. So, and of course we got some big news about that show because we got some very special guests that are going to be a part of that show, and I'm already marking out because these are 4 men I grew up watching. Well, we all grew up watching these 4 men who are going to be on it, but oh boy, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. All I can say. So yeah, good match there. So solid fight there. So 1.25, 1.5 stars. That's the rating I'm going to give this. So with that said, let's move on to our next matchup. Well, segment anyway. This is going to be another 2-for-1 thing because we had a promo which led into a match. So we're going to go 2-for-1 again. Starting it off, it was the Big Show. The Big Show comes out. Big Show comes out and cuts a promo. Talking about how he compared Roman Reigns. He called him the WWE equivalent of the New York Knicks, who are in a 15-game losing streak. Oh yeah, they're terrible, folks. Oh boy. And then he said, Roman Reigns, you're a loser, and if you're a Roman Reigns fan, then by proxy, you're a loser too. And then he talks about first day on the job and everything else. And he said, my first day on the job, I'd be Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, major controversy in that one. The 1995 Halloween Havoc, for those of you scoring at home. The Joe in Detroit, where, that whole situation, Jimmy Hart, putting the clause in the contract, everybody remembers that. And, yeah. And it also had that infamous sumo monster truck fight. Oof. Yeah. And then, of course, Roman Reigns then shows up and, his first promo, since, of course, we all remember what happened the last time he cut a promo. He gave a little wink of the eye to us here in the IWC, which everybody, which all blew up and became, a big deal. And then he says, "Yeah, I remember you beating Hogan for the title, Big Show, when I was 12 years old, maybe." And then he goes on to basically tell his little version of Jack and the Beanstalk, if you will. And yeah, another meh promo there, and then it led into a matchup. Roman Reigns going one-on-one with Luke Harper. Winner of the match, Roman Reigns, in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. I'll tell you what. For as far as the promo goes, Big Show was far and away better. I thought Big Show's promo work was better. Roman Reigns, oof, yeah. And I'm reading the Raw review right now, and Jason Powell, ProWrestling.net, he said, and I quote, Remember when Roman Reigns was the strong, silent type who closed out the Shield's promos with the badass line? I miss those days. Yeah, we all do. He always used to do the believe that. Well, yeah. We're not believing in his promos right now. I mean, his promos, he needs so much work with those right now. It's not even funny. I mean, he's a great wrestler, yes, but as far as the promos go, dude, you need work. And then Derek Ferreira, broke a revelation recently saying that Roman Reigns, his promos were being actually handwritten by Mr. Vince McMahon himself. Yeah, even if the boss is helping you out, it's still not getting you over as far as the mic work goes. It's more than just in-ring work, buddy. You gotta have the mic work. You gotta have the ability to cut a promo. My advice to you: watch a Paul Heyman promo, for God's sakes. Paul Heyman is the best promo guy in the business today. And you know what? I'll even throw in Bray Wyatt. He's another good promo guy. Hell, I'll go further. Daniel Bryan. Or hell, the three of us could cut a better promo than you. I could cut a better promo than Roman Reigns. Let me tell you that right now, friends. I'll tell you that. Michael Bullock could cut a better promo. Hell, Dee Dee Woodson could cut a better promo than Roman Reigns. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Roman, it's not personal. We're not disrespecting you in any way. But your promo skills need so much work it's not even funny. And that's why I got to give the promo edge to the Big Show in this case, because he was far and away better. He's got the experience of doing that. As far as the match goes, however, I will make it up to you. I will call it the second best fight of the night. I thought this was a very good match. Another match, that had a bit of Shakespearean drama here. There was some very good near falls down the stretch. And it's because of that. I'm going to give this right around 2.5 to 3 stars. Call it my second best fight of the night. And no big surprise, Roman Reigns got the win. You knew that was coming. And then after the match, the Big Show comes in and, cleans house on Roman Reigns, including a WMD, knocks him out. So 2 knockouts in one night for the Big Show. And you heard it here first. Roman Reigns and the Big Show, I got this weird iffy feeling they're going to have another match at the Royal Rumble. I hope I'm wrong about that. Hopefully they save those 2 for the Royal Rumble match itself. That's what I want to see. But remember, the previous few matches, those couple of matches that Reigns and Big Show have had already, well, they've both been average, mediocre, and both of them are flat-out duds. Unwatchable, snoozers, boring, sleepy. So, but this match with Roman Reigns and Luke Harper, 2 great young studs, 2 future champions, in my opinion, 2 future WWE World Heavyweight Champions, in my honest opinion, it was a very good match. I will give them that. 2.5 to 3, that's my rating on that. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the Reigns and Big Show back and forth promo and the match with Roman Reigns and Luke Harper?
Yeah, the Big Show and Roman Reigns promo. Well, the Big Show I thought was better than Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns, I do agree. I mean, this guy can't even cut a promo right now. I mean, I used to like his promos when he was with the Shield, and he would always end it with "believe that" and "believe in the Shield." I miss those as well, and I mean, he really needs a lot of work on the mic. It's not even funny, and I certainly ain't laughing at it. And all 3 of us, and maybe even Derek and Fletcher could cut a better promo than Roman Reigns. So really didn't care much about this segment, but even though I thought the Big Show was better, as far as the match goes, I'll give it a solid 3 stars as well. I mean, this was a good match with some Shakespearean drama as well, and we all thought Harper was going to pull it off, but Reigns hits the spear and gets the win. And then after the match, well, let's just say he suffers a WND, a knockout punch from the Big Show, and yeah, 2 knockouts in one night for the Big Show. So yeah, so a very successful night for the Big Show, if you might say. So the promo I could care less about, but the match was definitely 3 stars. So that being said, Florio, let's move on.
All right. Move on we will. Let's see what we have next up here. It was a Divas. Well, the first of 2 Divas matches with this. We had Alicia Fox go one-on-one with Naomi. Stipulation, Naomi had to wrestle the match with one arm tied behind her back. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it was Alicia Fox. Michael Bullock, I'm so sorry to have to do this to you, but you're going to have to start off on this one, I'm afraid. Luck of the draw got you.
No, 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 no. Oh, hell no with this. I mean, I'll say it. Typical ho-hum diva fight. Absolute dud. I mean, pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible. I mean, what was the point of this match? Yeah, well, I guess because backstage, well, when the Usos were with, of course, Stephanie McMahon, and obviously Stephanie heard the Usos talking trash about the Authority, so he said, you know what? I'm going to punish your wife, and I'm going to put her in a match against Alicia Fox with one hand tied behind her back. Yeah, as soon as I heard about this match, I was like, yep, this has got DUD Dud written all over it, and lo and behold, I was right on it, so yeah, not even going to get into further details on it, could care less about it, so that being said, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Obviously, it stemmed from something that happened on the last SmackDown there. The Usos, voiced their disapproval over what happened to Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan, getting fired. And apparently the Authority got a hold of that, and Stephanie McMahon in a backstage segment, you know, told the Usos be sure to inform Naomi that when she wrestles her match tonight, she's going to have to do it with one arm tied behind her back. Yeah, typical Authority shenanigans once again. Uh, this was an absolute dud. I mean, your typical ho-hum diva fight. And it's a damn shame, too, because Naomi and Alicia Fox are both good workers, if I'm being honest. I mean, Naomi, slightly better, if I'm being honest, even though I like A. Fox's body of work, too. But, yeah, not good at all. And that's the only reason why they decided to do that. Obviously, Michael Bullock, I know you're asking what was the point of it, but, it is what it is. So, typical ho-hum diva fight, absolute dud. Not the first dud. There will be some more duds, unfortunately, throughout this broadcast here tonight. So goodbye to that. Let's get rid of that. Let's move on to our next segment, which was another in-ring segment, another promo segment. It was WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar, along with his advocate Paul Heyman. And thoughts on this? Well, what else is there to say? I mean, this was a fantastic segment here. I thought it was the second best segment of the night, to be honest. I'm going to rate the opening segment right around the fourth best segment of the night. There were three that I thought were better. This was one of them. Second best for me, I thought there was one that was better, even though this one was very well done. I mean, take note, Roman Reigns. What the promo that Paul Heyman cut, that, my friends, is how you cut a promo right there. Paul Heyman is the best promo guy in the business today. I don't give a crap what anybody says. I mean, yeah, that's how you cut a promo right there. I mean, I know Michael Bullock was probably a little unnerved because he brought up, since it was in New Orleans after all, for the first time since, of course, WrestleMania 30, when his hero, The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania came to an end at the hands of the Beast Incarnate.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Of course, and Michael Bullock will never forget it either. So, of course, when it comes to this, like I said, Heyman.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Paul Heyman, for putting it in my head again.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't bring up the 1 in 21-1, but
I think I'm glad he didn't bring it up.
Yeah, I'm surprised too, Didi Woodson. You're absolutely right. But I'll tell you what, but say what you want. Heyman is the best promo guy far and away in the WWE today. I mean, the only way Roman Reigns is going to be able to cut a good promo is if you have Heyman, behind the scenes helping him out with it. That's the only way that Roman Reigns will ever cut a good promo in my mind. But I'll tell you what. I mean, great promo by Heyman, another fantastic one. I mean, he could write a book on how to cut a promo and release it tomorrow, and I would be more than happy to purchase it, to be honest with you. Because this is the man right here. The way he did it tonight, I mean, alienating the crowd, bringing up The Undertaker in WrestleMania, and then bringing up his accomplishments and everything else. I mean, well done, Paul Heyman. Well done. That's why you are the man when it comes to cutting promos. When that man speaks, I listen. Simple as that. That's why I've always loved Heyman's body of work. From the early days, he was cutting promos to when he was Paulie Dangerously with the Dangerous Alliance in the WCW. the ECW, even though I didn't watch much of it, not as much as Derek Forever and Michael Fletcher did. And of course, when he came to the WWE as part of the Invasion storyline, the commentary with Jim Ross, which was fun to watch, and then this. So, well done, Paul Heyman. Well done, my friend. Another fantastic promo by you, sir. Well done indeed. And that's definitely how you start. That's how you start breathing life back into what could have been another dead show. But he definitely was one of the saving graces here, without a doubt. So, to me, second best segment of the night. Well done promo by Heyman. One segment I thought was just a little bit better. You could honestly call it the segment of the night, but not to me, because there was one segment that I thought was a little bit better, and based on my personal preferences, I think you both know where I'm going with it. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this Paul Heyman promo with Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, this was definitely a really good segment and second best segment of the night. Basically, Paul Heyman saying him and Lesnar are back at the scene of the crime where 282 days ago, the people of New Orleans saw what everyone else saw. The death of a myth, the end of a legacy, and the rise of a beast where the Undertaker's undefeated streak was conquered by the beast himself, Brock Lesnar. And yeah, I mean, as soon as I heard that, I was like, thanks a lot, Paul Heyman, for having to bring that up again. But he also reminded everyone what he has also done. He was also the man to hold on to the NCAA, the UFC, and WWE heavyweight championship of the world, and it's so prestigious that no man has ever held two of those titles. Not one man, but a beast, which is Brock Lesnar. And yeah, and of course, basically the streak will last forever. Well, that was a fantasy. Brock is a reality, and the C Nation flag will fly high forever. Fantasy. Brock, reality. Seth Rollins, the future of the WWE, a fantasy or a reality? And he will explain, of course, at the contract signing what the difference is between fantasy and reality, face to face to curb stomping face. So very well done segment, and and now that is how you cut a promo there, Roman Reigns. So take note on that. So second best segment of the night. So with that being said, let's move on, Florio.
All right. Yes, very good indeed. So with that said, let's move on. Next up, it was another match. It was Jey Uso, accompanied by brother Jimmy Uso, going up against The Miz with Damien Mizdow. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it was the awesome one himself, The Miz. Once again, Michael Bullock, the luck of the draw bites you in the you-know-what again, so you're going to have to start on this one.
Oh my gosh, this was another not-so-good match, and you know what, I'm just going to NA this match. Really wasn't feeling this match at all, and I mean, how many times have we seen this rivalry, whether it's with Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso? It's tired, it's played out, it's beyond the point of go away. So NA for me. Couldn't give two craps about this match. So Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, you can NA it, that's fine, but to me, this was a dud. I mean, this was not good at all. I mean, I'm going to call this the second worst fight of the night. I thought there was one that was worse. I think you know where I'm going with that. So yeah, there's really nothing left to say here. Absolute dud. We're just going to move on. And now we're going to have a lot of fun here, folks, because who was out next? The leader of the Yes Movement himself, ridiculously over Daniel Bryan. He comes to the ring.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, hell yes. Without a doubt. He comes out, and he talks about, he was in New Orleans for the first time since a certain miracle on a certain street happened. Trying to think what that was. Oh yeah, the Miracle on Bourbon Street. Everybody remembers that. WrestleMania 30. I mean, Brock Lesnar wasn't the only one who had a big night at WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan, anybody? Yes, Brock Lesnar may have ended the streak of the Undertaker. That's fine and dandy, but let's take a moment and look and reflect on what Daniel Bryan did back on April 6th of 2014, shall we? Beat Triple H in the new greatest opening match of WrestleMania history. Check. Went on to the main event against Triple H's Evolution cohorts. Champion at the time, Randy Orton, and the Animal, Dave Batista. Made Batista tap out to the S-Lock, which caused 75,000 fans to damn near blow the roof off that beautiful Superdome. And by doing so, Daniel Bryan finally got his long overdue moment in the sun on that night and became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And to me, the best ending to a WrestleMania you will ever see. Bar none. Better than Hogan and Andre. Better than Macho winning the title at WrestleMania 4 in the tournament. Better than the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Better than even better than my idol Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 10. Better than Shawn Michaels when he got his moment at 12. And I hate to say Michael Bullock, even better than when your Undertaker main evented WrestleMania 13 and won the title. Better than those times when Stone Cold got his moment in the sun when he won the title. I mean, Triple H, Lesnar, hell, even Daniel Bryan's idol, Chris Benoit. I mean, Dave Batista. I mean, I could go on and on and on about, great endings to WrestleManias. What happened on that night, that was the best ending to a WrestleMania you will ever see. I don't give a crap what anybody says on that. But to the serious business at hand, Daniel Bryan, he went on about that, and he also talked about, his participation in the upcoming Royal Rumble match, and he said that he's going to keep on fighting, and he said that without the support of the Yes movement, that he never would have gotten to where he got, and he said he doesn't care what the authority has to say. He is not only entering the Royal Rumble, but he is going to win the Royal Rumble. And unfortunately, Mr. Bryan was rudely, and I do mean rudely, interrupted by one half of the authority, Stephanie McMahon, and a great segment here. Then Stephanie, brought up about Bryan's history and neck injuries, and of course saying that he will write the next chapter in the Ultimate Underdog story. She said the fans and Daniel Bryan's wife Brie Bella believes in him, but does he believe in himself? And then, are you ready to do this all over again? And Daniel Bryan said yes, and there goes another yes chant. And then they go back and forth. They talk about the Rumble. They talk about WrestleMania and everything else. And then Stephanie says, oh no, Daniel Bryan, your first match back is not going to be the Rumble match itself. Your first match back is going to be this upcoming Thursday night, when SmackDown returns to Thursday night, one-on-one against the man who was pretty much responsible for all of this, Corporate Citizen Kane. And there is Corporate Citizen Kane, and then a brawl breaks out with Daniel Bryan and Kane, and a lot of recapping there. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this short and sweet here. Segment of the night, right here. Anytime Daniel Bryan is on your TV screens, my friends, it's always, and I do mean always, must-see television. And that's exactly what we got here tonight. I mean, him and Stephanie were fantastic. I love the back and forth between these two. I mean, definitely brought back some great memories, when Stephanie McMahon used to have back and forth with Chris Jericho back in the day during the Attitude Era. I mean, that was fun to watch. And, of course, this was fun to watch right here. I mean, seeing Daniel Bryan, playing up to the crowd, getting the crowd behind him like he always does. I mean, another great promo guy. I talked about that earlier, in addition to Paul Heyman and Bray Wyatt. But this was a fantastic segment. Daniel Bryan, captivating the live crowd in New Orleans like he always does, captivating myself, captivating Michael Bullock, captivating Dee Dee Woodson, and I'm sure Derek Ferrer and Michael Fletcher will agree when they do their reviews. But, oh man, I mean, all I can say is Great segment all around. A fantastic brawl to set up the match for Thursday night SmackDown. Daniel Bryan against Kane. We'll know how it all went down when the spoilers do come out tomorrow night, right around this time, I'm sure. So, yes, 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 indeed, my friends. Segment of the night. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm just going to throw it up to my partner in crime in the S movement, Michael Bullock. Your thoughts on our idol, our hero, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Yes, I was so excited to see Daniel Bryan come out. Of course, talking about, of course, reliving about his win at WrestleMania 30 with the main event, becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He says, and of course, talking about some of the other headliners, and of course, talking about his intentions of winning the Royal Rumble match, and then going on to do it all over again, and that he'll main event this year's WrestleMania and become WWE World Heavyweight Champion again, and saying he basically doesn't care what the Authority has to say. And then, Stephanie McMahon, one half of the Authority, had the audacity to interrupt, and you saw her basically have a DVD with that WWE Fit series and saying, "Oh, it's a gift for you, Daniel Bryan." I mean, who needs that anyway? Of course, talking about the whole thing, and then of course saying, I mean, do you believe in yourself? I mean, you believed in Brie Bella. The fans believed in you, but can you believe in yourself again? I mean, after what everything was going to be great for you in 2014, that everything came crashing down with, of course, Daniel Bryan getting tombstoned by Kane on the steps and then on the table, and saying, are you willing to relive it all over again? And we got the answer of yes, 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 yes. And then Daniel Bryan basically says, why don't you join in and raise your arms? Because it's a better workout than that stupid DVD. And then he says, you know what? You just don't get us average Joes, because I had to fight for every opportunity that was given to me, and no matter what the Authority does, I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to stop fighting, and I will prove the Authority wrong one more time. And then Steph says, oh, you want to fight so bad? Your first match is not going to be at the Royal Rumble. Your first match back on SmackDown, it's going to be against somebody who you're familiar with. And who is it? Corporate Kane. And then we had ourselves a brawl, and for a moment it looked like Kane was going to do it all over again, but Daniel Bryan fights back, and he ends up with the last word. So, like I said, definitely the segment of the night, no doubt about it. So, with that being said, Florio, let's move on to the next match.
Oh, you all set there, Bullock?
I said let's move on.
Oh, okay. I got a little sidetracked there. I'm sorry about that. So, I can confirm that the inaugural College Football Playoff National Championship game is winding down, and it looks like the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to win it. They have a 35-20 lead with about 2.5 minutes to go. So we'll try to get more on that in just a little bit. So while we're waiting for that, let's move on to our next moment here. It was the second of our two Divas matches. It was Paige, accompanied by Natalya and Tyson Kidd, going up against Brie Bella, of course, with sister Divas champion Nikki Bella. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it was Brie Bella. And once again, Michael Bullock, luck of the draw again. I hate to do it to you, but...
No, 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 no. Oh, hell no. Another typical ho-hum diva fight. Another dud. I mean, WWE, why do you continue to shove this right down our throats? I mean, not one, but two typical ho-hum diva fights in one night? We thought you may have learned your lesson from last week, but obviously you haven't, so yeah, don't get too craps about this. Not even going to get into any further details on this piece of crap diva match, so Florio, it's yours. I'm done. I'm finished with this crap.
Yeah, another dud. I mean, another typical ho-hum diva fight. I mean, both of them were terrible. This one wasn't much better. Tyson Kidd getting involved, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. That said, let's just move on. And with that said, I wanna get you guys' thoughts on this. I'm hopeful that we can get Dee Dee Whitson's thoughts on this, on what we're going to talk about next. I'd really like to know what she thinks about this. In addition to Michael Bullock and myself. Of course, about 12 hours or so ago, a major announcement was made. It was first reported by TMZ, and then also reported by Michael Fletcher and Derek Ferreira on their respective Facebook pages. Michael Fletcher actually did a YouTube video about it this afternoon, a good 11-minute video, which I saw earlier. My friends, the wait is finally over. The first inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2015 was announced. And ladies and gentlemen, we can now finally say with a big smile on our face, taking his long overdue rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame is none other than the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Yes, Macho Man, Randy Savage is finally getting his rightful place into the WWE Hall of Fame, and he is going to be inducted by the one and the only, the immortal Hulk Hogan. Wow. Oh, wow. Of course, I'm going to start off on this. I'll tell you what. As a major Randy Savage fan growing up, Michael Fletcher said it best when he did his video earlier. This is, a major win for all the professional wrestling fans out there, especially the fans of the golden era, during the 80s and the 90s. I mean, what else can you say that hasn't been said about Randy Macho Man Savage? I mean, a guy who should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. Let's not kid ourselves. Especially, I mean, if you were going to induct the man, you should have done it when he was alive. But Vince McMahon, being the stubborn old fart that he is, kept him out of the Hall of Fame because of the fact that, well, he holds a grudge. He holds a grudge against him. I mean, yeah, I can understand you were angry about him for going to WCW in 1994. I can understand that because WCW was his biggest threat. And then, of course, there was all those rumors about, a little incident between him and Stephanie McMahon. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't like to deal in any of that nonsense. But let's not dwell on that. What we're going to talk about is we just want to share our thoughts on this. And all I can say is it's about goddamn time. I mean, here's a man who should have been in a long time ago. I mean, they created the WWE Hall of Fame all the way back in '93. Of course, the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, was the very first inductee, rightly so. A lot of legends in that Hall of Fame, from Arnold Skaaland to Gorilla Monsoon, and there it is. Dee Dee Whitson just posted in our text chat box the Ohio State Buckeyes well on their way to winning the inaugural college football playoff national championship. And being the native Ohioan that Dede Woodson is, I'm sure she's very thrilled about this, and that's all I can say about that. And I know it's going to be chaos in your home state, Dede Woodson, especially once they get back home with that trophy.
I wouldn't say I'm native since I just moved up here 3 years ago. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot you're originally from Oklahoma. That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. But I know it's definitely going to be one hell of a scene. That's all I can say.
It's going to be total chaos, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the news. I know all your local news affiliates. That's going to be their top story, and rightly so. But anyways, yes, congratulations indeed, and I'm sure Friday night on Strictly Sports we'll probably get more into that. I'm sure. But moving back to this, back to the induction of Randy Macho Man Savage into the Hall of Fame. I mean, what else is there to say about it? I mean, it's something that I've been waiting for. Michael Bullock's been waiting for. Dede Woodson's been waiting for. Derek Ferrera, Michael Fletcher. I mean, every professional wrestling fan all around the world, from the young fans to the older fans and everything else. This is our moment. This is what we've been wanting. We've been wanting this for so long. I mean, for the better part of the last decade, we've finally gotten to see some names that should have been in a long time ago, finally get their due. I mean, it all started in 2006 with Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, we all thought he was never going to be in the Hall of Fame, especially after what happened, with the Montreal Screwjob, back in the '97 Survivor Series with Shawn Michaels and Earl Hebner and Vince and all that. But, as the old saying was, bygones were bygones, and Vince finally, Bret and Vince finally buried the hatchet, and because of that, Vince finally, let Bret into the Hall of Fame. And then 7 years later, in 2013, just a couple of years ago, another big moment. The great Bruno Sammartino, the living legend of professional wrestling, he finally got his moment when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013. I mean, because Bruno Sammartino didn't like the direction of the company. He's a high-bound traditionalist like I am. But it was Triple H. Triple H was, the mastermind behind Bruno Sammartino finally getting his moment. And then 1 year ago, another one that we never thought would get in because of, past heat with Vince, the Ultimate Warrior. He finally got his call to the Hall last year, and then unfortunately, just a couple of days later, he ended up passing away. Macho Man, as we all know, died a few years ago, back in 2011. Heart attack while driving, and crashed his car into a tree, and bada boom, that was it. But look back at the great career that Randy Macho Man Savage had. I mean, I don't know every single thing he did, but the most notable things he did, of course, winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in February of 1986 in the old Boston Garden when he defeated the great Tito Santana. Of course, held that title for over a year before losing it, of course, in one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. One of the first time that a WrestleMania had a 5-star classic of a match. It was him and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat that damn near tore the roof off the Pontiac Silverdome. That 5-star classic that they had that completely overshadowed what that event was supposed to be all about. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, as everybody remembers, but Macho and Steamboat, they stole the show at WrestleMania 3, and it was the Dragon who ended Macho's over 1 year run as Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And to me, it's one of the 5 greatest matches in WrestleMania history. And if you haven't seen it yet, what the hell are you doing? Watch it. You won't regret it. I promise you. We've all seen it. I mean,
on the WWE Network for the low price of $9.99.
Yes, indeed, Michael Bullock. Or if you have, the VHS tape or the DVD or what have you of WrestleMania 3 itself, or if it was featured on one of those compilation DVD sets, which I have several that have that match. So pop that thing into the DVD machine or pop that tape into the old VCR if you're still using those things in this day and age. Yeah, watch that match. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. And then, of course, WrestleMania 4. We'll never forget it. The one-night single elimination tournament when he won the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship, beating not one, not two, not three, but 4 men in one night. Beating the Natural Butch Reed, beating Greg the Hammer Valentine, beating the One-Man Gang, and, of course, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, in the main event, and capturing the first of his 2 World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championships. And, of course, he held that title for, again, just over a year before dropping it to Hulk Hogan, of course, when the Mega Powers exploded at WrestleMania 5. Everybody remembers that. And then, of course, he turned heel. Everybody knows that. Turned on Hogan on that main event special in Milwaukee. Everybody remembers that. And then, he and Hogan had a great rivalry. And then, of course, who will ever forget WrestleMania 7? WrestleMania 7, another 5-star classic, the career-ending match against the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, another one of my all-time favorite matches. Another match you need to check out if you haven't already. Another match that all of us have seen, and definitely you get those J-Lo American Idol goosies every time you watch it. But not just because of the match itself. Oh no. What happened after the match? That's what people best talk about more. When he and Miss Elizabeth had that unforgettable, tear-jerking moment in the middle of the ring, reuniting, and brought tears to the eyes of everybody in attendance in the LA Sports Arena at WrestleMania 7. And then, of course, SummerSlam 91, Madison Square Garden, when Macho Man and Elizabeth had the match made in heaven. Another one of his great moments. And then, of course, a great rivalry with Jake the Snake Roberts ensued. And then, of course, WrestleMania 8. What a match. Him and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Another one of my favorite matches. 4.5-star match. Randy Macho Man Savage defeated Ric Flair and won his second World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship in front of a packed house at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Over 62,000 fans, witnessed a classic as those two had the fight of the night, Macho and Flair. And then, of course, Macho then, the in-ring career was starting to slow down. Then, of course, he went into commentary. He was a broadcaster. He worked with Vince McMahon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and, of course, Rob Bartlett on those early episodes of Monday Night Raw. And then, of course, he joined Bobby the Brain Heenan, and, of course, a new announcer who was just joining the World Wrestling Federation. I think you've heard of this man. Good old JR, Jim Ross, anyone? Jim Ross? WrestleMania 9 and the King of the Ring in 1993. Savage, Heenan, and Ross called both of those events quite well, I might add. Great commentary on both events. And then, of course, that was right around the time when Macho left for World Championship Wrestling in 1994. And Vince, very upset, you can imagine, held a grudge over it. And then look what he goes on to do in WCW. He goes on to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on multiple occasions, including the infamous World War III 60-man Battle Royal at the old Norfolk Scope. He captured that in 1995, and of course he also went on to have a few more reigns as champion. Also defeated the Nature Boy Ric Flair on a Monday Nitro at the Caesars Palace Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And of course he went on. I remember he also went on to at one point also defeat Kevin Nash in an unusual match in 1999 at the Bash at the Beach. It was him and Sid going up against Kevin Nash and Sting, and the title was on the line in that match, which still puzzles me to this day, why they would put the title on the line in a tag match, for God's sakes. But nonetheless, Macho won it. So, and then also Macho took the title off of Sting, before that. And his reign only lasted one night because he dropped it to Hogan. Well, 2 times he held the title, and then the next night dropped it to Hogan. Yeah, okay. But the point is, Macho held the WCW Championship on 4 occasions. Again, reunited with Miss Elizabeth and Hulk Hogan. A little bit of a Mega Powers reunion in '96. Went up against the 4 Horsemen, the Dungeon of Doom. We all remember that. that infamous Tower of Doom match at the Uncensored in '96, and then Macho pretty much called it a career. Right around 99, 2000, pretty much called it a career, and was hardly ever seen or heard. And then unfortunately, 2011, May 20th of 2011, passing away in that car accident. Having had a heart attack while he was driving, and unfortunately claimed his life. And here it is. Macho's now in the Hall of Fame. Gets his call finally. Well deserved. Way long overdue. Should have been at least. I want to say when they brought back the Hall of Fame in 2004. I honestly would have liked to have seen him and Hogan in the same class. I still think that the 2005 Hall of Fame class is the best Hall of Fame class to this day because of the living legends that were inducted in that class. Hogan, Piper, Volkov, Sheik, Jimmy Hart, Orndorff, Cowboy Bob Orton, father of Randy Orton. I mean, who's who of legends. So, but all in all, a great moment for us wrestling fans. Thank you, Vince McMahon, for finally listening to us, although you should have done that a long time ago, grudge or not. I mean, would have been nice to see him alive for him to accept it. But I think I heard the plan. I read some dirt sheets earlier, and the plan is obviously not just for Hulk Hogan to induct him, but Macho Man's brother, Lanny Poffo, best known as Leapin' Lanny Poffo, and of course the Genius. Of course, he's more known for his role as the Genius in WWE in the late '80s and early '90s. He's going to be doing the speech, so which I think is very fitting because we all know how close him and Macho were. I mean, they were brothers for God's sakes. So, I mean, and I read comments, and TMZ reported it. WWE Network confirmed it. Scott Stanford from the studios confirmed the announcement that Hogan was inducted, that Hogan was going to be inducting him. You also heard comments from various legends, including Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who fought Macho in that epic match at WrestleMania 3. So, all in all, congratulations. Long overdue. Should have happened at least 10 years ago, but, it is what it is. And another man who Vince once held a grudge against, now in the Hall. That makes 4 now. First was Bret the Hitman Hart, then it was Bruno Sammartino, then it was the Ultimate Warrior, and now, finally, Macho Man Randy Savage. We're happy now. But there's one name left. There's one name left that needs to get his moment in the sun, who should have had it a long time ago. You know where I'm going with this. Owen Hart. That's the last one. Probably not going to be this year, but hopefully within the next couple of years or so, we'll be doing this show, and we'll break the news that Owen Hart finally gets his moment in the sun. Let those bygones be bygones and get his ass in the Hall of Fame because he damn sure deserves it too. But for right now, we're going to enjoy this. We're going to celebrate. It's a big victory for all of us wrestling fans, not just in the IWC, but for professional wrestling fans all over the world. Randy Macho Man Savage is finally getting his long overdue moment and getting his rightful and will take his long overdue rightful place in the World Wrestling Entertainment Class of 2015 Hall of Fame. Well done, Macho. Well done. Should have happened at least 10 years ago. That's all I can say about that. So I think I just went over my professor limit here. So I don't know what else there is to say. I'm hoping that I really want to get both of you guys' thoughts on this. So with that said, Michael Bullock, floor is yours, my friend. Your thoughts on Macho Man Randy Savage finally getting his long overdue moment and getting his induction and taking his rightful place into the Hall of Fame Class of 2015.
All I can say is it's about damn time, and also I gotta throw yes, 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 yes. Thank you, WWE, for finally doing it. Congratulations to the Macho Man Randy Savage finally getting into the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, he first broke into the wrestling business, of course, back in 1973. Back then in the Georgia Championship Wrestling for a brief time, and then he went into the ICW, which is International Championship Wrestling, and then after that he entered the Memphis scene under the CWA, which is the Continental Wrestling Association. And then, of course, that's when he made his mark in WWE. Of course, he signed back in June of 1985, and he made his first appearances in WWE on a famous show called Tuesday Night Titans, and there was a segment where he featured several established managers who were going to offer services to the Macho Man, and then he declined their offers, and who did he choose as his manager? The lovely Miss Elizabeth. And they've pretty much been working together, of course, until 1992, and it's probably one of the best times around there. Of course, 1985, it was February 24th, 1986 on Primetime Wrestling. He won the Intercontinental Championship at the Boston Garden. And then, of course, he also earned a couple of count-out victories in Madison Square Garden over Hulk Hogan. And he also got into wars during that time with Bruno Sammartino and George the Animal Steele. And then, of course, WrestleMania 2, he beat George the Animal Steele to retain the Intercontinental Championship. And then, of course, who could ever forget WrestleMania 3, 5-star classic, and was the match that overtook the hype with the Hogan and Andre, with him against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I mean, and it ended his near 14-month reign as the Intercontinental Champion. And the match was named the 1987's Match of the Year by both Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the Wrestling Observer. So, and then, of course, he won a King of the Ring tournament back later on in 1987. And then, of course, he turned face, of course, when the Honky Tonk Man, he got into a war with the Honky Tonk Man, and it was that time when the Hart Foundation and the Honky Tonk Man were gonna hit Macho Man with the guitar, which they ended up doing, and then of course Miss Elizabeth brought out Hulk Hogan, which of course led to the formation of the Mega Powers. And then, of course, WrestleMania 4, he was in a 14-man tournament for the vacant WWE Championship, and he would go on to win it and win 4 matches. He beat the Natural Butch Reed, Greg the Hammer Valentine, the One Man Gang, and then he beat the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in the finals with a little assist from Hulk Hogan. And yeah, he held the title for over a year, and he went up against the likes, of course, even super heavyweights like the One Man Gang and Andre the Giant. And of course Hogan and of course Macho Man teamed with Hulk Hogan to take on Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant at the first ever SummerSlam. And he even had wars with the Twin Towers, which was the Big Boss Man and Akeem. And then, of course, they were the sole survivors at the 1988 Survivor Series. And then, of course, they ended up in a feud, of course, with what happened, of course. It all started back on a February 3rd, 1989 edition of the Main Event, when, of course, Elizabeth had to get carried out after she got injured, and Hogan carried her out, and Savage got enraged, and that's what led to the match at WrestleMania 5 with the Mega Powers exploding. And he would lose the title to Hulk Hogan after a 371-day reign as WWE Champion. And then, of course, he would team with Zeus to take on Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake at SummerSlam 1989. And then, of course, he would go on to, of course, become the Macho King Randy Savage, and then of course he would be with the sensational Queen Sherry, and of course, who could ever forget WrestleMania 7, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, and a match where it would end it was a career-ending match, and of course, Ultimate Warrior won that match, but the one that really stole it was the moment with Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man getting back together with the crowd. There were tears from that crowd, and then of course he would return as a broadcaster, and after WrestleMania 7 with Vince McMahon, and then of course he would have the wedding reception at SummerSlam with him and Miss Elizabeth, the match made in heaven, and then he would come back to wrestle, of course, and he would face Jake the Snake Roberts, and then of course he had a rivalry with the Nature Boy Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8, of course, where he won the WWE Championship, and then of course even they actually separated Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth in real life, and they made their final appearance together at the UK Rampage pay-per-view, where of course the Macho Man successfully defended the WWE Championship against the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. I'm sure there's some people who remember that, and of course that was the first ever title shot for Shawn Michaels. And then of course he would go on to commentate with Vince McMahon and Bobby the Brain Heenan and Rob Bartlett on the early days of Monday Night Raw. He would also do it with with good old JR, Jim Ross, and then eventually he left for WCW and had a good reign there in WCW, and we never saw him again afterwards. So yeah, and then of course unfortunately he passed away in 2011, and yes, he finally gets in after that rift he had with Vince McMahon, and there was a time I thought he was going to get inducted. I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. I think it was 3 years ago when WrestleMania was held in Miami, Florida, because he was from Sarasota, and I was thinking that would have been the time to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't know why they didn't do it, but hey, I'm glad they finally do it. They finally got him in there, and there's another person that I feel that should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. And this person was with the Macho Man, and I just mentioned it, Miss Elizabeth. Miss Elizabeth, to me, should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I know she didn't do that much, but just seeing her and Macho Man paired together was, to me, they were the best power couple in WWE history. And for her to not even be in there, I hate to say it, but it's a little bit pointless and unnecessary, if I'm going to be quite honest here. And there are some other superstars that I feel that should be in the Hall of Fame. Another person that's in the Hart family, Owen Hart, everybody. Here's a guy that's worthy of being in the WWE Hall of Fame. But like I said, those are thoughts, but to me, not just Owen Hart, but Miss Elizabeth should be in there. That's my message to you, WWE. Put Miss Elizabeth in the WWE Hall of Fame. But any event, congratulations once again to the Macho Man for getting into the WWE Hall of Fame. And that's pretty much my 2 cents on it. I don't know if Dee Dee Woodson wants to get her 2 cents in, but if not, we'll just move on.
I think you guys said most of it.
All right, so I guess we'll just move on.
All right. But yes, nonetheless, congrats to Randy Macho Man Savage finally getting his long overdue moment. It is now official. The Ohio State Buckeyes have won the inaugural college football playoff national championship. They defeated the Oregon Ducks. I got to correct the score there, Didi, wasn't slightly. It was 42-20. That was the final score. Ohio State winning that. So we'll probably have more on that. We'll probably have a recap of that, I'm sure, Friday night on Strictly Sports. I don't know how Derek will want to do that, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But Ohio State wins it 42-20. They are your inaugural college football playoff national champions. What a story indeed. We'll have more on that maybe Friday night. So, all right. After that, after the Macho announcement, you had the Ascension against a couple of Hammerneggers. We're not going to waste your time. We're not going to get you into that. That was an absolute dud. It was the worst fight of the night. I think we're all in agreement there. They won in 1 minute and 10 seconds, so I'm not even going to bother with that nonsense. So get the you-know-what out of here with that stuff. So with that said, we're just going to move on to something more relevant, which was another in-ring segment. It was United States Heavyweight Champion Rusev, joined by Lana, interrupted by the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this segment?
All right, so this is the this was a segment, right, Florio?
Yes, in-ring segment.
All right, just wanted to make sure on that. Excuse me. Yeah. Hold on a minute. I'm just trying to.
Oh, wait. Actually, Michael Bullock, for the third time tonight, we're gonna do a 2-for-1 because it's led into a match.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just remembered it myself. So there was a promo. It was Rusev and Lana interrupted by Ambrose, which set up a Rusev versus Dean Ambrose matchup. And it was won by Rusev via referee stoppage. I don't have the time of the match. So with that said, Michael Bullock, now your thoughts on the promo and the match itself, Rusev and Ambrose.
All right. Yeah. As far as this the segment goes, I thought it was all right for what it was worth. I mean, even though, I thought it was all right, but basically, she says, you know what, Rusev was supposed to face Ryback, but unfortunately, his ass got canned, and they said, you know what, we would like to thank the Authority, and we also like to thank John Cena for failing to get Ryback's job back. So typical, an American has a job yet chooses to be insubordinate, which is pathetic, and that our chants are not going to help out. And she would like all of us to imagine how Ryback feels at home. Maybe he can work at a deli or some other stupid place, and then Rusev calls us cowards, and Rusev says Ryback is lucky because he got fired and because John Cena couldn't win his job back, because Ryback would have ended up with Rusev in the Rumble match where he would have thrown him out. And then that's when Dean Ambrose music hits and he attacks Rusev. And yeah, so now we got the match. So yeah, it was all right. And as far as the match goes, I'm going to say probably, I don't know if this would be a correct rating. I would say maybe 1.5 to 2 stars. This was so good. The match was getting so good until, well, fortunately the ref had to stop it because the knee was really hurting him. It was getting good, but fortunately the injury had to have the ref stop the match. So 1.5 to 2 stars. I don't know if I'm right on the ratings, so that's pretty much all I can say. So Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, the promo segment was very good between Rusev. We had Rusev and Lana there. Ambrose didn't really speak. It was pretty much a beatdown, a little brawl segment there. So yeah, Lana and Rusev, another great heel promo by those two. Lana, another good one when it comes to the promo work. Far and away the best. One of the best up there as well, and that segment was well done. And then the match itself, solid matchup, but 1.5 to 2 is the correct rating. I agree with Michael Bullock on that 100%. It's obvious that they're obviously setting up. I know Ryback's not back yet, but I think they are eventually gonna be back. You know they are. Maybe for the Royal Rumble, or maybe they may even hold that. They may hold that sucker off until WrestleMania. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I could see a Rusev and Ryback, collision during the Royal Rumble match itself, because Rusev is in the Royal Rumble match. He entered that last Friday on SmackDown, and if they bring those other three guys back, which I'm sure they're going to, I expect all of them to be in there as well. And maybe we can start planting the seeds for Ryback and Rusev in the Royal Rumble match itself, and then it will lead into a United States heavyweight title matchup at WrestleMania, and that's where Rusev's run is going to end. You heard that here first. So 1.5 to 2 on the rating. Promo was good with Rusev and Lana. So with that said, let's just move on to our final segment of the night. It was the contract signing for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship triple threat match. The Authority presiding over it. You had Seth Rollins, you had John Cena, and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. I'm going to start it off. Another one of the segments of the night. This was very good as well. Not the segment of the night. I still think that was I still say the Daniel Bryan segment was the best segment of the night. This, to me, as great as this was, I can only give it the third best because, remember, I gave the Heyman promo the second best of the night. This was the third best for me. Even though this was a very good segment here. Very good moment here. Everybody was great here. I thought everybody on the mic was great. Even Lesnar. It's a rarity. We actually got to hear Lesnar talk, and Lesnar actually didn't sound that bad. But to me, the stars of this segment, to be honest, was Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. I thought Heyman and Rollins were the stars of the segment, without a doubt. The back and forth those two had, very well done. And then Cena doing great, and Lesnar had actually sounded fine when he had his moment. But very good final segment. Definitely made this match feel worthy. Definitely, brought up the excitement level for this match. So when it comes to the undercard of the Royal Rumble, we all know this is going to be the fight of the night on the undercard, but it's going to be the second best fight overall because we all know what the fight of the night is going to be. It's going to be the Royal Rumble match itself because it almost always is. So with that said, I'm just going to say third best segment of the night, although I enjoyed it, but I just thought that the Heyman promo and the segment with Daniel Bryan and Stephanie McMahon, I thought those were the two better segments when it comes to the in-ring segments tonight. So very good segment, great way to close the show. A lot better than that piss poor segment we saw last week. So not even going to get into that. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the contract signing?
Yeah, I thought this was another really good segment. Third best. I love the back and forth with Heyman and Rollins, and even getting a chance to hear Brock Lesnar, and even getting to hear, of course, John Cena as well. And then, of course, it ended with a little back and forth with Cena hitting the AA on the table, of course, putting Lesnar through the table with the AA, and then a little distraction by Triple H, and then a curb stomp on John Cena, and a curb stomp to Brock Lesnar as well. And you could see the Authority look real happy about it and saying, that's our future WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah, definitely a good build when it comes to this triple threat match at the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, you pretty much touched on everything. So, third best segment of the night. So, with that being said, let's get to our overall thoughts. And Anthony, I think you should go first because I'm not quite set with mine yet.
All right, that's not a problem. As Michael Bullock alluded to, it is time for our overall review of this show tonight. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a 0 out of 10. No way. Because this Raw tonight was definitely a lot better than that abysmal show that we saw a week ago. Oh my goodness. Don't even get us started on how god-awful that show was last week. But this show is definitely a lot better. Because you had some great in-ring segments. As far as the matches go, fight of the night: John Cena, Seth Rollins, 3.5 stars. Second best fight, I have to give that to Roman Reigns and Luke Harper, between 2.5 to 3 on that. And those were basically pretty much the only two in-ring matches that really stood out. I mean, you had a couple of middle-of-the-road matches, that tag match with Kid and Cesaro against Kingston and Woods of the New Day, 1.5 to 2 there. Same thing for Dean Ambrose and Rusev. Yes, you had your dud enhancement matches as well. You had two ho-hum diva fights. You had an Ascension squash. You also had the dud match with The Miz and Jey Uso. But those were the lowlights, obviously. And then, of course, they also had, and then, of course, the fight of the highlights, of course, those two matches, Cena and Rollins and Reigns and Harper. Those were far and away the two best fights of the night. And then also there was all those in-ring segments. Of course, the Daniel Bryan segment, which was very well done with Stephanie McMahon. The Paul Heyman promo, very good. The contract signing was another great segment. The Rusev and Lana promo, that was well done. So yeah, a lot more positives than negatives this time around. So I'm going to give this between maybe 6 to 6.5 out of 10, if I'm being honest. Probably right around 6.5. Teetering on 7, but I'm leaning more towards 6 to 6.5. I thought it was a much, much better show than that. Like I said, that horrific show from last week where we gave it a 0 out of 10. We never thought in the almost 3 years we've been doing this show, we never thought we would ever give a show a 0 out of 10. But then again, we never thought we'd give a show a perfect 10 out of 10. But we did that with WrestleMania 30 last year. But and then, of course, last Monday Night's Raw, the first to ever get a 0 out of 10 rating from all four of us. That was a unanimous. But I don't know if this rating is going to be unanimous. But here, two good matches, 4 or 5 very good in-ring segments. And my only criticism, I do have one slight criticism. I mean, I'm glad you hyped the title match. It deserves hype. I'm glad you got Lesnar in there. I know he's on limited dates. I'm glad you managed to get him in there. That was good. The interaction with him and Rollins and Heyman was great, and everything else. But my slight criticism, and I'm sure both of you will agree with me on this, where in the hell is the build to the match that makes this pay-per-view what it is? The 30-man Royal Rumble match? Hello? You only have, one more week to build it and get us excited about it? I don't know about you guys, but my excitement level, thumbs down. It's not there yet. I should be excited about this match. But how can I get excited about it if you're not even going to build it? If you're not even going to bother building the match up? That's my only criticism. I mean, yeah, you only have like a handful of names in there. You got Roman Reigns in there. You got Daniel Bryan in there. You got Bray Wyatt. Rusev, the United States Heavyweight Champion. Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Bad News Barrett. Those are the only names that I have on my list here, unless there were more added that I don't know about. But honestly, I mean, the Royal Rumble match is what makes this pay-per-view so damn special and so fun to watch each and every time. I mean, we've grown up. We've grown up with the Royal Rumble. All of us, all 3 of us have grown up watching the Royal Rumble match. I mean, the Royal Rumble match, everybody knows. I don't know if Michael Bullock and or Didi Woodson know about this, but I know about this. The Royal Rumble was the brainchild of one Pat Patterson, the first Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. He's the one who came up with the concept of the Royal Rumble. And there hasn't been any build to this event, to this match. Not one significant mention of it. I'm sorry. Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, reprehensible, and borderline irresponsible. This is the event that sells the pay-per-view. That match alone sells it. That's why people pay their hard-earned money to see it. And yet, you haven't even built it up once. Shameful. Actually, the names that I mentioned, you have Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Rusev, Bray Wyatt, Bad News Barrett. We have one more. We actually do have a new entrant, and that is the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. If you didn't see those god awful segments that he was in tonight, I'm not even gonna mention that because the guy they brought in was basically Dr. Shelby 2.0, and I'm not even gonna get into that. So that doesn't even deserve that. I'm not even gonna dignify that. But other than that, other than my little minor rant there, I still thought this was a much better show than last week. So I'm giving this between 6 to 6.5 out of 10. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this show tonight?
What did you rate it, Florio?
I gave it between 6 to 6.5 out of 10. I don't know if you agree with that or if you have a rating that was lower.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It's a 6 out of 10 for me, and definitely was way better in that, way better than last week's Raw. I mean, like you said, you had 4 good segments and 2 good matches, and yeah, the lowlights were a couple of the typical ho-hum diva fights. So yeah, and of course, one other match, which of course I thought it was an NA, but I gotta give it a dud too. That Jey Uso and The Miz. So yeah, I got really nothing else to say except let's put a bow on this show.
Yes, indeed. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put the bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forum. Of course, we thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight to this edition of the Wrestling Forum. Of course, no Derek Ferrera tonight. Of course, as he was covering the inaugural College Football Playoff National Championship game with Ohio State and Oregon. Again, congratulations to Ohio State winning the game 42-20. And then, of course, Michael Fletcher, unfortunately, unable to be with us as well, as he attended the New Orleans Pelicans Boston Celtics game at the TD Garden in Boston. He went there with his brother-in-law tonight, saw the game. Celtics won that game, like I said, 108-100. He's been posting like crazy on his Facebook page. So maybe I wonder if maybe we can, if he's going to be on the show Friday. I wonder if we can maybe, here's an idea for Derek Ferrera, maybe have him share his experiences from the game. Maybe we can get into that since, we have a limited docket. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But if it was me, I would definitely want to do that. So, all right, that's going to put the bow on this. Of course, as we always do, we're going to put the bow on it with our shout-outs. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your shout-outs, and then I'll set the table for the rest of the way.
All right, of course, we want to thank everybody, of course, for listening to us here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Shout-outs to all of our great fans who support our shows, whether it's this show or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. Of course, we also want to thank again our special guest Dee Dee Woodson for joining us here on the Wrestling Forum, and of course shout out of course to her husband Kevin Woodson as well, and of course to our other super fans Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh, and of course shout outs to our friends from the high school days, of course Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza. Of course, shout out to Derek Ferrera, who couldn't be with us, of course, covering that national championship game. And yeah, I want to offer up my congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes. And yeah, it's amazing. I mean, they were, from what I saw in his post, 40-1 odds to win the national championship. Of course, after the Braxton Miller injury, and then of course you had the J.T. Barrett injury, and your third-string quarterback, Cardale Jones, leads you to the national championship. That's something, and we'll definitely get more into it Friday night on Strictly Sports. And of course, shout out to Michael Fletcher, couldn't be with us because he was at that Celtics game and picked the perfect one to go to, of course, with the Celtics beating the Pelicans tonight. So that's pretty much gonna do it for me. I'll save the rest of my shout-outs Friday night for Strictly Sports, and yeah, of course, Friday night Strictly Sports. We got another big show. Of course, we will recap that national championship game, and of course talk about Championship Sunday in the National Football League. It's another one of the best times in the year, of course, with Conference Championship Sunday, and course, I'll leave it Anthony to set the rest of the table for Strictly Sports. So, yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for me. So, until Friday night for an all-new edition of Strictly Sports, of course, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And, of course, you all know the routine. Oh, of course, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, saying, of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And I'll see you Friday night for Strictly Sports. So, with that being said, Florio, take us home and set the table for Friday night.
Yes, indeed, we'll do, Michael Bullock, on that. Like I said, we thank you all so very much for tuning in to this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We appreciate it as always. Of course, you are the best fans in the world, enough said. Of course, special shout outs to all of our fans out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum as well as Strictly Sports. The great, as ridiculously over as they are, we appreciate that as always. I hope you saw the last Strictly Sports on Friday night because you got to see that real side of me that I promised you all. And of course, I definitely suggest, if you haven't done so already, check out our last edition of Strictly Sports from this past Friday night. I mean, all of us gave an epic tribute to the late Stuart Scott and a whole lot more. So you definitely want to check that out. That was definitely a worthy highlight, to say the very least. And without a doubt, it was definitely our most emotional Strictly Sports show of all time. Right? Maybe our most emotional show ever. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And, of course, special shout-outs to, of course, our super fans. And, of course, Didi Woodson, once again, for joining us here. Delighted to have you with us, as always, Didi Woodson. Of course, you're welcome here anytime. You know that. So
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to have you. We definitely hope to have you maybe join us again Friday night for Strictly Sports, another loaded show, which I'll get to in just a moment. Of course, special shout out to, of course, the rest of Didi Woodson's family, husband Kevin and the kids. Of course, the first family of the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports. So we appreciate all.
We're getting a lot of snow right now.
What's that, Didi?
We're getting a lot of snow.
Oh, it's snowing up there.
Oh yeah,
wow.
The kids have been out of school since last Thursday.
Oh wow, no kidding. Wow, last Thursday, my goodness. But oh man. Yeah. Well, we got a little up here, but we had a lot of rain today, and obviously the rain melted it all away. So yeah.
Well, you can blame ours on the Erie, Lake Erie.
Oh yeah.
Nice lake effect.
Out of school since Thursday. My goodness. Amazing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it makes unhappy campers, but oh well.
I hate to say it, but it sounds like it sounds almost similar to what happened up in Buffalo some time ago. Not that bad, I hope.
No,
but,
not that bad.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, we can still drive on it. It's just there's enough that they had to cancel school. So.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, shout outs to all of you, and of course the rest of our super fans, or as I dubbed it on my Twitter the other day, hashtag Team Superfan, which Didi and Kevin Woodson and the kids are proud members of. Of course, the rest of that team, of course, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh. You can't forget about our good friend from the UK, Daniel Luttrell. Can't forget about him as well. Of course, Derek Ferreira, like I said, couldn't be with us tonight, covering the college football championship, Ohio State and Oregon. And of course, Michael Fletcher, who went to the Pelicans and Celtics game tonight up in Boston's TD Garden with his brother-in-law. So definitely, hopefully, we can get him to share his experiences of going to that game on Friday night. That is, if Derek approves of that, because it's Derek's brainchild, so we're gonna have to run that by him. But I personally want to get his thoughts on that game myself. So, but anyways, of course, the rest of our shout-outs, of course, Derek Ferreira, our hardcore pipe bomb, and of course the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Of course, Megan Silva, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Kaiser Butler, the First Lady of Strictly Sports. The rest of our crew, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier. I know he's probably very upset right now because his Oregon Ducks lost tonight. But hang your head up, man. Hang your head up there, man. I mean, they had a hell of a year, but they just ran into a buzzsaw right now. That's all I can say on that. So shout out to Eric Carrier and Tommy Souza, along with Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, Rob Parsons, and the rest of our crew from our school days. And, of course, I'm going to save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night as well. Of course, next time we'll see you all, 10:30 Friday night, Strictly Sports. Derek Ferrer will be back at the helm. We're going to be, I don't know what's on the docket, but as of now, my guess is we're probably going to have a recap of the national championship game. We'll also have a preview of the NFC championship game with the Green Bay Packers going up against the Seattle Seahawks, and the AFC championship matchup with the Indianapolis Colts going up against Michael Bullock and Derek Ferrera's New England Patriots, and our first NHL power rankings for this season. And I'll tell you what, if we had a power rankings last week, you heard this here first, my New York Rangers would have been number one in my power rankings because of how damn well they've been playing as of late. I mean, I believe they've won like 4 or 5 in a row, and 12 out of 13 or 13 out of 14. Yeah, they're playing like you're defending Eastern Conference champs, my friends. That's all I can say on that. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this. So until Friday night, and I also hope that we can get Michael Fletcher's experiences from going to the Celtics game tonight. So that's going to do it for this. So until Friday night, for Strictly Sports on Derek Ferrera's SLB 2008-09 channel, this is Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for the Phenom Michael Bullock and our special guest and number one super fan Didi Woodson. You've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on YouTube.com, here on my channel, The Tone 25. And until then, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on The Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And once again, congratulations to Macho Man Randy Savage finally getting his moment in the sun and finally taking his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2015. Once again, bye for now, my friends. God bless. And most importantly, be good to each other.